Good morning, everyone, and welcome back to another Kano Tryharding Modern. Now, I ran into this recently, and I said I was going to do it when I got tired of having bad mulligans with Tron, so we're going to see if this works. Now, is it going to be top tier? Probably not. I'm still going to try hard with this, and I feel like I've earned this today. We're going to play Mono Green Tron with 4 serum powders in the main, because my mulligans have been such garbage. So what did we do? We took the same list as the last time I played this deck. I cut a Ballista, I cut a Worm Coil, I cut all O-Stones, and I added 4 Serum Powder and a 3rd Ugin. Because I think that O-Stone is probably unnecessary in this particular build because we haven't been seeing a lot of Alpine Moon or Blood Moon in the metagame. I feel like I might actually miss the 3rd Ballista in this list, but we'll see what happens. And yeah, I really think that's all the explanation I need to give for this right now, so we're going to go ahead and take this into a competitive Modern League. I fully expect to 0-5 with this list, but I just want to see if I can up the Tron consistency with only that change. Alright, I'll see you guys in round 1. Alright, we'll be on the play for round 1, and hey, look at that, it's turn 3 Tron, we'll keep. Even if our only threat is Worm Coil Engine, it's still probably worth doing. So we'll start Power Plant, map, pass the turn. Now we have 4 dead draws in the deck. Opponent leads on Prismatic Vista, cracks it for a Forest, plays Utopia Sprawl, on red. Okay, we draw another Power Plant. Players is mine. Pass the turn. Now, if my opponent happens to be on green-red Ponza, I'm going to be quite upset, because I've not run into that deck in so many leagues. Don't Blood Moon me, bro. Don't Stone Rain me either. Don't do it. Oh my god. We're not going to need O-Stone. Nobody plays these cards anymore. Immediate. We call this instant karma in the business. We're gonna go get tower. It's a setback. It's just a minor setback, that's all. Play tower, pass the turn. Opponent stop presented a clock. We'll just make land drops to Worm Coil Engine. Karn, Great Creator. I'm so mad about this right now. I know it doesn't look like it, but... and we don't even have Karn Great Creator to play on 4 mana to shut off what our opponent's doing here. So we just actually have to scoop because we will never make land drops up to where we need to go. The good news is we have Quadra Nature's Claim here to bring in. We can cut 3 Relics of Progenitus, and I'm gonna cut... What do I cut here? I think Walking Ballista or Worm Coil, actually, to get down to 60 cards. I could cut Ghost Quarter as well. Maybe that's reasonable. I'll actually cut Ghost Quarter here. It could take my opponent off of a Utopia Sprawl, but if I'm playing Ghost Quarter that early in the game, I'm probably losing anyway. So, yeah, run it back. I would like to play first. Yeah, this hand is powderable, I would say. This hand is not good. Mulligan. The double same Tron hand... We're down a tower. We gotta remember that, because I powdered a tower. We're also down 2 maps. We're going to 5. Okay, I feel like I can work with this. We will keep. Ballista's going back, as well as... I think I have to put back Stirrings here, actually. We're gonna need our green mana for that Nature's Claim. Start mine, play map, pass the turn. Really hoping we draw another Tron land. Opponent plays a Windswept Heath and passes. We untap and draw Worm Coil Engine. Play Blast Zone, pass the turn. Opponent cracks Windswept Heath, gets a Stomping Ground. They untap, play Windswept Heath, crack Windswept Heath for a Forest, and play Wrenn 6. And they pick up Windswept Heath, so we're going to go tutor for a Power Plant. I don't want to tutor for Tower, because if I am going to get Stone Rained, I don't want them to take the land I have less of. We untap. Draw another mine, play Power Plant, play Chromatic Star, pass the turn. If we have to Nature's Claim this turn, we at least get 1 more redraw at hitting tower to play Worm Coil. Opponent plays a Windswept Heath? Yeah, they play a Windswept Heath. They crack Windswept Heath for a Forest. They're going to pick up a Windswept Heath. They play Blood Moon. Alright, so on their end step, cycle for green. We draw Karn. Nature's Claim, Blood Moon. Untap. We draw Sylvan Scrying. No, I needed the green mana. Players is mine. Well, if I had used the Chromatic Star for the Sylvan Scrying, I wouldn't have been able to take out Blood Moon, and we'd be in exactly the same place we are now. Okay, opponent shocks Stomping Ground, plays Bloodbraid, and wheels into Blood Moon. Calling it now. It's a pillage, never mind. There's the Arbor Elf. They uptick Renin 6 to 6. I mean, if they ult Renin 6, we're dead. And we're drawing nothing. Pass the turn. We'll play this out, but we're super dead. Oh man, I have never had the Magic meta karma me like this. We're just like, the deck doesn't exist. Nobody plays it. Everybody's running into control and blitz. Nope. Just nope. Alright, so they play Bloodbraid. They wheel into Bone Crusher. Renin 6 ready to ult. We get hit for 4 down to 16. We untap. Pass. Well, pass the round. Yeah, that's what we're doing. I'll see you guys in game 2. Statistical outlier. Invalid data. Alright, round 2. This is a mulligan. This isn't great either. I'm going to 5. Okay, I'm gonna powder. My opponent has revealed Gigantha. What decks play Gigantha? It's like Burn or Tron. So we're gonna powder. I'm going to put back Tower and Map. We're going to exile the rest of these cards. Am I going to 4 or keeping this? I'm going to 4. I'm going to 3. Yeah. Okay. Well, I can't go to 2. So, the question is, what card in this set of 4 am I putting back? It's probably Relic. Who am I kidding? Alright, so we're going to top deck a Tron land. We're going to map for our third piece of Tron, and then we're going to windmill Karn, and it's going to be amazing. That's the plan. My opponent also mulliganed to 4. Play map. Pass the turn. Alright, Minor Tower off the top. Let's go. Opponent cycles Sphere for green. They found mine. They got the Sylvan Scrying too? Okay, it's just a star. Probably an Ancient Stirrings. They cycle the star. Another star. Okay. We untap. We draw a star. This is very, very likely game over. I could have, in theory, increased my chances here by playing star instead of map, but really, map drawing Tron land there was probably the only way we were going to win. Okay, opponent cycles Chromatic Star. This tells me that they don't have Tron this turn without more tricks. They played a redundant power plant. That's promising. We untap. We draw Relic. Cycle Star for green. We draw Ballista. Play Star. Pass the turn. I got 5 less cards in my deck. You telling me I can't draw Tron land to save my life? They have Karn Great. Get out of here. We had a. I mean, it wasn't the greatest luck, right? With what do you call it? Like Karn Great Creatorless Tron. But I feel like the deck is better than this, obviously. So we're gonna cut the relics, and I'm going to cut Ugin. Actually, I'm gonna keep the relics, and I'm gonna go down an Ugin even, and a worm. Not a worm coil and all his dust. Alright. Let's try it like this. I would like to play first. Yeah, I'm going to powder this whole hand. Much better. I will keep this. I don't even have to put anything back. It is a little bit unfortunate that we do not have the ability to top deck Ghost Quarter. Alright, so we lead on mine, play map. Opponent untaps. Plays a mine. They also mulligan to 4. We play a power plant. Let's go ahead and map for tower. Pass the turn. We really need to draw a threat that interacts with their mana base, though. They play Sanctum of Ugin, Expedition map. We untap. Draw Urza's Mine. Play tower. Play Wormcoil. Now, I would really like to draw a Chromatic Sphere or Star. There are 7 in the deck. Forest is also acceptable. My opponent is on turn 4 Tron at the earliest. They play Star. So they're going to cycle Star, probably cast an Ancient Stirrings if they've got it. Trying to find their second Tron land before they have to activate map. We untap. Draw Ugin. Play an Urza's Mine. Play Ugin. Shoot my opponent. Go to combat. Attack them for 6. Opponent untaps. They play a tower. So we gotta do something here. We untap. Draw Chromatic Sphere. So if I had Ghost Quarter in the deck, I would Sphere for Sylvan Scrying, get Ghost Quarter. Ancient Stirrings. Opponent gonna crack map. Probably get power plant. They do. We Ancient Stirrings. Karn liberated. Rest of the bottom. Play Sanctum. Yeah, that was game over because we were gonna go get Ulamog. Alright, so Serum Powder did not help in the opener. Opponent got luckier on a Mull. But did help in the second game there. It got us to a turn 3 Tron hand. So that's a point for and a point against Serum Powder. Actually, I probably should be playing Kozilek rather than this other Ugin. Not 100% sure that's correct versus an opposing Tron player. Because, I mean, I guess the Lightning Bolt is more relevant than the Walking Ballista. Than a Walking Ballista. Alright, run it back. Game 3. This is pretty dang close to a turn 3 Tron Karn, so I'm going to keep. My opponent has been mulliganing very aggressively, probably because they have to. But if they stumble assembling Tron and we play Karn, it's game over. That's basically what we have to hope for. That is really our only game plan. Now, if we draw Nature's Claim and my opponent leads on map, I could actually lead on Forest and delay my own Tron assembly. But that's a very specific set of circumstances, and my opponent mulliganed to 4. They lead on Power Plant, play map, we untap, draw Chromatic Sphere, will play Power Plant, play Star, pass the turn. If we're going to leave a sphere or a star on board, we'd prefer it to be a star, because if it gets destroyed, we would, obviously prefer to have that. Play Mine, play Sphere. I'm going to leave up Nature's Claim, I think. Because if my opponent has Karn Great Creator instead of Karn Liberated, this gives us a chance. But only a chance. There's the Mine. They play Chromatic Sphere. Sack for green. 6 mana. Thragtusk. Okay, that does not do it. I am going to cycle the Sphere for green. We draw Kozilek. I could actually Nature's Claim my own star, but I feel like that's pretty bad. Okay, we untap. We draw Wormcoil Engine. Cycle Star for green. We draw Serum Powder. Ancient Stirrings. We do find Tower. Play Tower. Play Powder. Play Chromatic Sphere. Pass the turn. Now, if we draw a Tron land, we could potentially Kozilek next turn. Opponent Tron lands up to 9. I mean, odds are we're just going to play Karn Liberated unless my opponent can interact with our mana base. Opponent goes to combat. Sure. Attacks us for 5. Alright. So they tutored for Urza's Mine. That probably means that's the land we destroy given the option. Karn Great Creator. Yeah, alright. I'll cycle this for green in response. We draw another Karn Liberated, which is good. Opponent wishes for Liquid Metal Coating. Plays it. And because they're doing this on their second main, we can actually Nature's Claim this. Then they can't disrupt our mana. Okay. We untap. Draw a Chromatic Sphere. Play a Forest. And we have to go Karn, downtick on Karn. We got a sacrificial Karn here. Play Chromatic Sphere. Pass the turn. So my opponent can attack and kill this Karn. Any land gets us to Kozilek. Opponent goes to combat. Hits Karn for 5. They play map. Alright, if they got Ghost Quarter, this is real bad for us. Blast Zone. So opponent is playing a build of Tron that does not have Ghost Quarter in it. We untap. Draw Power Plant. Cycle Sphere. Ancient Stirrings. That's what we were looking for. Ulamog. Play Power Plant. Play Ulamog. Nuke 2 Tron lands. And then we can back this up with Karn and it'll be game over. Opponent ticks up Blast Zone to 4. We're not even playing Karn Great Creator. I don't... Okay. They play Sanctum. They pass. We untap. Draw Forest. Let's do this right. Kozilek. Draw a bunch of cards. Woo! Alright. And that was neither a point for or against Serum Powder. Although, it did actually slightly ramp us. So its usage as a manolith is reasonable, just not very. So we got a point for Serum Powder and a point against Serum Powder. We'll see you guys in round 3. Alright, we will be on the play for round 3. Is it okay to lose 2 of my basics, 2 Ancient Stirrings, an Ugin, and a Wormcoil? Powder. Alright, turn 3 Tron. This seems good. We'll keep. We're just really susceptible to Ghost Quarters. Alright, so lead on Urza's Mine, play Expedition Map, pass the turn. Opponent untaps, plays a Mountain. Alright, we're going to kind of regret not having that Wormcoil. I got a feeling. Okay, we untap and draw a Power Plant, so not quite natural Tron achieved. Cycle for green. Ancient Stirring. Guess I'll get Ulamog, because this will be a turn 4 Ulamog. Pass the turn. Now, depending on whether this is actually Burn or Blitz, we may or may not have a better matchup. Seeing as this is Blitz, we could actually die on turn 3. Soul Scar Mage. Alright. Swift Spear. So I would really like to draw a Worm Coil next turn, if possible. We get hit for 2, untap, draw Walking Ballista, play Tower, crack Map, get another Tower, play Star, and we're going to Walking Ballista, and we're actually going to shoot down the Soul Scar Mage right now. There's still a chance we die here, but it's greatly diminished. I would have preferred to, like, Blast Zone if I could, but the mana doesn't work out for us that way. We would have to basically Sylvan Scrying this turn for Blast Zone. So this looks like a Manamorphose play. It is. Opponent adds red, Lava Darts, lights up the stage, Wooded Foothills, and Expressive Iteration. Opponent plays Wooded Foothills. We are taking at minimum half of our life total here. Cracks Wooded Foothills, gets a Steam Vents, tapped. Then they Lava Dart us. We're going to 5. We're going to 5, but we're taking out all of their lands and making a blocker. We go to 5, untap, Drawers is mine, play Tower, play Ulamog, nuke their lands, pass the turn, and then we are going to frantically dig. Actually, I can just Sylvan Scrying for Blast Zone to clear the way. They play Arid Mesa because they still have lands. I mean, we're dead to Bolt Mutagenic Growth. Alright, we untap, draw a Power Plant, cycle for green, see what we draw, map, Sylvan Scrying, get Blast Zone, play it, activate it, go to combat, attack for 10, mill them for 20, opponent cracks Arid Mesa. If they just have like Bolt, untap, Bolt, I'm going to be a little upset. We exile a lot of cards, hit them down to 5, play Star, play Map, pass the turn, opponent untaps, they did not have an instant, and they scoop. Thank goodness. Alright. So, versus Blitz. Definitely want Thrag Tusks. I may want Relics still. Ballista's okay. Ulamog's ambitious. I think I'll cut a Relic, and we'll cut the Ghost Quarter. Try it like this, I guess. We may actually need Nature's Claim, but I'm going to hope we don't. Alright, we got a very slow hand that does not contain Tron, so I'm going to mulligan. Close. Not quite enough. I'm going to try keeping this. We'll put back Thrag Tusk, we'll put back Sanctum. Going to 4. I mean, unless we have Natural Tron into something we can play is probably not that prudent. This at least gives us a redraw at hitting a second Tron land. Second Sphere means if we do, by some miracle, assemble Tron on time, we can actually play Thrag Tusk on Tron turn. Opponent fetches a Steam Vents tapped. Okay. They play Spire Bluff Canal, so it's probably Manamorphose into Stormwing Entity. There's the Manamorphose. There's the Stormwing Entity. Alright, we untap. Draw Walking Ballista. Cycle for green, we get a forest, or, I mean, we get a Karn, and then we play forest. I can either play Scrying here and grab a Tron land, or I can play Sphere and try and cycle and draw another Tron land. Either way, it's turn 4 Tron. I think we actually play the Sphere here. Another Thrag Tusk. Okay, pass the turn. So if we draw a mine or a tower, then we'll Sylvan Scrying. For the one that we don't have. If we don't, we'll Sylvan Scrying to make our land drop for the turn. Opponent plays a Sprite Dragon. They attack us for 4. They Lightning Bolt us. So we're probably dead here. If that had been all of my opponent's mana, and we could Walking Ballista down the Sprite Dragon, we may have stood a chance. But that is not the case. So we're going to go to game 3. Run it back. I would like to play first. Powder loses us a Worm Coil engine, but I think it's still worth. Natural Tron, Karn, keep. So this is a 0.4 Serum Powder. Alright, mine, pass the turn. Opponent plays a Spire Bluff Canal into a Soul Scar Mage. We untap. Draw Chromatic Star. So we can either play Ballista on one, or we can star and play Stirrings. I think we play Ballista, because even just chump blocking here is going to be okay. Opponent plays Arid Mesa. They go to combat. They attack us for 1. That's fine. No blocks. We take 1. So they probably have a light up the stage play here. Opponent cracks Arid Mesa. Manamorphose. Prowess Trigger. Into red-blue. Stormwing Entity. Okay. Opponent gets to go scrying. Then we untap. We draw Serum Powder. Play Tower. Play Karn. Karn gonna kill Stormwing Entity. Pass the turn. So he's probably gonna die to a Bolt, or like Lava Dart Burst Lightning, or double Lava Dart or something like that, but we will block here. They're attacking Karn. We will chump, ping our opponent. Karn takes no damage. They play a second Soul Scar Mage, a third Soul Scar Mage. We untap. We draw another Karn. Okay. So, what do we do here? I think we star Stirrings first, because if I can draw a Blast Zone, that solves all of my problems. So star Stirrings. We can get Expedition Map, and we can Expedition Map for Blast Zone, but then we don't have the mana to activate it. We can get Wormcoil Engine, and that's a decent follow-up. I could also just map for another tower if I wanted. I think I do take map. Then we'll play Serum Powder. Uptick on my opponent's hand. I mean, there's a good chance they have enough cantrips and spellcasts they can probably just kill us this turn, but we still gotta try, right? We get Mutagenic Growth. That's really scary. Play map. Crack map. We'll get Blast Zone. Play Blast Zone. Play Chromatic Star. Alright. I wish we had drawn another Tron land that turn, because if we had, we could have mapped for Blast Zone and... No, we couldn't have, because we would have played a land. Okay, opponent plays Sprite Dragon. 2 cards left in their hand. Lava Dart. That takes them from 4 damage to 8 damage. And they can Lava Dart again, and that takes them to 12. And Mutagenic Growth, which takes them to above 17. We tried. We really, really tried. I guess maybe I had to cash in Karn there. The reason I upticked instead of downticked is because I fully expected my opponent, after they attacked Karn the first time, that was kind of a signal that they were light on gas in hand a little bit. So I figured if I upticked, Karn would actually survive. They might be forced to attack him. I did not expect another haste creature plus triple spell. So, alright. I still think Serum Powder did good work there, but we lost the round. I'll see you guys in round 4. Alright, we are on the play for round 4. This hand with double Stirrings is tempting, especially against a Lurrus deck, but I think I am going to mulligan. I like this better. We will keep, put back Ulamog, and lead on map. Hopefully this is not mill. Pass the turn. Opponent also has a borderless Lurrus. It's probably Lurrus Burn. Alright, so hopefully we don't die on turn 2. Let's go get Urza's Mine, because Blast Zone is too slow here. So if opponent has, like, Manamorphose, Lava Dart, Ground Rift, we're dead. There's a lot of ways we actually just die. Like, Mutagenic, Ground Rift, I think, kills us. Because what is that? +4, +4, +4, +4. Then +6, +6. They play a Soul Scar Mage. They attack us for 1. So they're setting up for a great big combo turn. We untap, draw Sylvan Scrying, play Mine, play Relic, cycle Relic, another Ugin, pass the turn. So technically one of these Ugins would be a Oblivion Stone normally. So opponent plays Bauble, Prowess triggers. They crack Bauble. They attack for 4, but they're attacking with everything. So what that really means is a lot. So Lightning Bolt, Lava Dart. Okay, I think I'm actually dead. That's 12. They flash it back for 3 more damage, and we die. It's actually 5 more damage, but... Oh, they can't. They don't have a mountain. Never mind, they have Mutagenic Growth. We're just dead. Alright. So, versus Blitz. I will bring in the Dismembers because I don't really have a choice. We'll cut an Ulamog. We'll cut an Ugin. I guess I'll cut a couple of relics. I'll cut all the relics for Thrag Tusks. We'll try it like that. I really doubt that's going to matter, but opponent's deck is just so fast, and it interacts during the turns that we don't have interaction. So, like, Tron doesn't really do anything until turn 3, generally. I think this hand is too slow, but I am going to keep it. Alright, so Power Plant Sphere. Pass the turn. Opponent plays Land Lumimancer. We untap and draw Ancient Stirrings. Cycle for green. We get Power Plant, Ancient Stirrings. I can get Expedition Map and have turn 4 Tron, which really is not acceptable, but play Mine, play Map. Maybe we draw Tower? I don't know. Opponent's deck is a deck that we really can't fight on the same axis as, like, short of, like, playing Gut Shot in the sideboard to kill their X1, which doesn't kill any of their other creatures, mind you. I guess if they're playing Leon and Lightscribe, it hits that, but for the low price of casting a spell, they counter it. And for them, casting a spell is free, because they have so many... Wow, okay. They abrade our map. Honestly, not what I expected. Play Power Plant, pass the turn. They play Swift Spear. They play Bauble. I really dislike that the Lurrus Bauble interaction is in that deck, because Bauble only synergizes with Prowess. It doesn't synergize with the Magecraft, which is, like, it's good. Thankfully, it's not that, right? But, like, it's just this inefficiency that's in the deck that I don't think you run those cards together. I mean, this deck is going to work against Tron because it's so fast, and my opponent has apparently drawn multiple Manamorphoses. But, I mean, honestly, this deck is basically faster Storm, but it dies to creature removal. Alright, well, I can map for Tower, but probably dead. Play Tower. Pass the turn. Opponent has to cast 2 spells with 4 cards in hand. They can even cycle a Sunbaked Canyon if they want. Abbot of Carol Keep digs them into a mutagenic growth, which kills us on the spot, because that's 3 damage on Swift Spear and then 2 damage on Clever Lumimancer. I guess they have to cast 1 more spell still, but it's not like Thragtusk is going to save us here. Alright, so they hit Soulscar Mage as well. They attack us for 1, but it's actually 5. Yep, we go to 2. We go to 1, excuse me. We untap and draw Urza's Mine. Play Thragtusk. Go back up to 6. Ha! Opponent untaps. They cycle Sunbaked Canyon. Opponent swings out. We block here. They cast anything, we lose, but... Oh yeah, no, we're super dead. So, I'm not upset about losing that matchup. I am frustrated that that deck sort of exists because of how quickly it works. I mean... And the thing is, it's not even a deck that, like, Force of Negation helps against, as an example, because recently I was complaining that if you don't have decks that fast in the format, you don't need Force of Negation, and so if you're going to ban all the fast mana, you don't need free counterspells in the format, so I'm pretty firmly in the belief that Force of Negation should not exist in Modern, but that's probably a card they will never ban, because it helps control decks. However, if you're going to ban things like Simian Spirit Guide, you probably shouldn't have an aggro deck that can kill you on turn 2 with its best draw. And yes, I'm non-discriminatory in that description. I think the same of Infect. I think the same of Hardened Scales. I think the same of Blitz, Prowess, Magecraft, whatever you want to call it. All of those decks. No deck should be able to kill you on turn 2 without it being like a 1 in 45 games, oh, my opponent double ritual Manamorphosed into unexpected results Emrakul, or something crazy like that. That's kind of how I feel Modern should be. But that's just my opinion. I think that matchup is like 20-80 to win. Like, we're 20%, we're going to win 20% of the games, and that's going to win 80%. And it doesn't matter how we're teched. It doesn't matter if I'm playing green-black Tron and I'm maxed out on Fatal Pushes and Collector Brutalities in the main deck. That matchup is going to be basically 20-80 all the time. So, all right, I'll see you guys in round 5. All right, we'll be on the draw for round 5, and this is definitely a powder hand, I think. And look at that. Keep turn 3 Tron into Ballista, Wormcoil, or Karn, whichever one we think is going to interact with our opponent best. Now, I'm really hoping that my opponent isn't Lurrus Blitz, because About the time I'm searching for power plant is about the time I'll be dying, but you never know. We get Inquisitioned, and there goes the map. Well, at least it's not Blitz. I got my wish. Map off the top one time. Oh, even better. Play mine. Pass the turn. Opponent plays Verdant Catacombs. This might just be Lurrus Jund. It could also be Lurrus Jund Death Shadow. Thoughtseize. Opponent now sees we have Tron. They can take Ballista to stop me from playing a card next turn, but they probably have to take Wormcoil Engine. Because, like, no card in their deck actually answers Wormcoil Engine, other than Thoughtseize. You know, asterisk there. They take Wormcoil, as predicted. We untap. Draw Ulamog. Play Power Plant. Play Ballista. Pass the turn. They Lightning Bolt Ballista. So even if they are Death Shadow, I'll ping them for 1. That would let them actually cast Death Shadow. There it is. Except the Ballista ping took it from a 1/1 to a 2/2, so I guess that's fine. We untap. Draw tower. Alright. Play Karn. I could uptick on their hand, but they would kill Karn probably anyway, because they could just fetch and shock. Opponent untaps. They fetch. They shock. They draw up to 2 cards in hand. They play Swift Spear. They play a land. They crack Bloodstained Mire. Get a swamp. They're going to put Lurrus in hand. They do. Okay. They attack Karn for 1, so we're just going to uptick. We're forced to uptick. Sure. We draw Sylvan Scrying. Uptick, take Lurrus from them. Play tower. Cast Ulamog. And we're going to take them off red. Alright. Cool. Bringing in Veil of Summer. I'm taking out... I think Ballista is pretty bad against them. I could bring in Nature's Claim. They tend to run some number of Damping Sphere sometimes. I'll cut the relics for this. Maybe I want Thragtusk here. I'll play a Thragtusk over an Ulamog. Try like that. Alright. I'm going to powder away 3 cards. Oh, yep. Alright. Hey, look at that. Natural Tron. Inquisition does very little to this hand, unless they have Damping Sphere. Or I guess Alpine Moon. They fetch and shock Overgrown Tomb. They play Hex Drinker. We untap. Draw Blast Zone. So play Power Plant. Play Sphere. Pass the turn. Opponent untaps. They play a Blood Crypt. Untapped. 2 mana for a Tarmogoyf. They hit us for 2. Sure. We untap. Draw another Power Plant. Play mine. Pass the turn. Opponent untaps. They go to combat. Attack for 3. They're going to Assassin's Trophy one of our lands. Yep. Get a forest. That's actually pretty bad. But I mean, they run Assassin's Trophy, so it's not like we can do anything about that. I'm not going to crack the Sphere using that mana, even though it's more mana efficient, because we would take 1 additional damage if I did. Untap. We draw Chromatic Star. Play Tower. Play Star. Pass the turn. This turn, by my opponent's end step, I will crack both the Sphere and the Star because my intent is to Blast Zone to kill the Hex Drinker next turn. Unless we somehow draw Urza's Mine Ugin, which would be the only thing that would be better, I think. I could Nature's Claim Chromatic Star. I would still draw a card that way, and I would end up gaining life. So opponent is going to Kroxa us. If I discard Power Plant, I take 3 damage, but I still think I need to do that. Okay, we go to 11. Opponent plays Death Shadow. Goes to combat. Attacks us for 5. We go down to 6. Cycle Sphere for green. Get a Sphere. I am going to claim the Star here, because I still get the draw and I gain 4 life. We draw Karn. Untap. We did not draw Mine/Ugin. So play Blast Zone. Activate it to kill Shadow and Hex Drinker. This is going to be slightly bad because my opponent is probably going to play a black land and then reanimate Kroxa. Okay, they play Bauble. They crack Bauble. They play another Shadow. They hit us for 4. We don't have any double draw possibility here. So opponent draws a card. We draw Ancient Stirrings. Cast Ancient Stirrings. We do find Urza's Mine. Rest of the bottom. Play mine. We gotta play Karn, and even though my opponent probably has an insane ability to lose life, we have to nuke Tarmogoyf because it's basically lethal by itself. Pass the turn. Opponent lightning bolts us. So we're dead to a shock land, a fetch land. So basically any land Death Shadow runs. And we're dead. I think we fought valiantly, but that was a very timely Assassin's Trophy, and we did not have the Veil of Summer. Yeah, opponent's got the rubbins, I know. Okay. I don't think I play the relics. I think I just run it back. Yeah, it's useful versus... I actually should have dropped a Ghost Quarter to play a single relic, I think. Alright, we'll play first. This is not a hand you powder. This is a mulligan. If we had the ability to cycle for green, it might actually be good, but I don't want to get rid of this many Tron lands. This is not great either. I'm going to mulligan. Single Tron land. Now this I will actually powder. I'm going to put Urza's Mine and Expedition Map back in the deck. We can exile these 5 cards. Mulligan. Go into 4. I'm going to powder again. I'll put back Urza's Mine, All is Dust, and Chromatic Sphere. We'll exile these 4. Mulligan to 3. Keep. We put back everything except Expedition Map and 2 lands. Alright. Powder got rid of a bunch of cards we don't want in our opener. And the way it lined up, we were able to basically put all of our Tron lands back in the deck. So if the Tron gods are feeling merciful and we just rip nothing but the right Tron land every single time, we'll be just fine. If they're not merciful and my opponent is just holding Quadra Assassin's Trophy, 2 lands, and a Surgical, then obviously everything is not fine. Opponent leads on Bloodstained Mire, fetches, shocks. They play a Hex Drinker. We untap. They draw a card. We draw Ghost Quarter. Play Forest because we want green mana on board in the event that my opponent does play like a Kroxa on turn 2 to force us to discard our last card. Because Ghost Quarter is not going to be super effective versus Death Shadow. So opponent draws for Bauble, draws for turn. They play Verdant Catacombs. They fetch Shock Stomping Ground. Level up. They go to combat, hit us for 2. I could actually tutor for Blast Zone, but I'm not going to. I'm going to wait a turn to tutor. We draw Veil of Summer. That brings a little bit of comfort. Play Ghost Quarter. Pass the turn. Opponent shocks a Blood Crypt. Levels up. Wow, they're going deep. Levels up. They go to combat. Attack us for 4. I could go get Blast Zone, but I feel like I'm being baited into doing that. Because if my opponent is just doing this, they have other spells they can cast. Yeah, I mean, I guess we're not doing much else. Go get Blast Zone. Untap. We draw Tron land, hey! Play Blast Zone. Pass the turn. Opponent untaps. They draw. Honestly, if they just level up, I think we... I'm going to take the hit here. So we will go down to 10. They put Lurrus in their hand. Okay. We untap. Draw Mine. Play Mine. Pass the turn. I mean, the capacity exists for me to draw Wormcoil or Thragtusk and play it and have it matter. Opponent goes to combat. Attacks. I think we do have to use this as a fog. Kill Hex Drinker. My opponent probably is just going to play Lurrus and then get back Hex Drinker. Or they have a crap load of Death Shadows and stuff they've just been waiting to play. 3 mana. So, I mean, it's going to be either Fulminator or Lurrus. It's Lurrus. Opponent plays Hex Drinker. I'm going to cycle Veil here. We do draw Tower. All we have to do is draw Ugin. That's all we got to do here. Opponent fetches up a Forest. Levels up Hex Drinker. Ugin off the top 1 time. 2nd tower. Well, they can level up 5 times. They'll hit us for 7 and bolt us. That is my prediction. We did get to Tron, believe it or not, on our Mull to 3, which Serum Powder did technically help with, because we powdered twice, so we got to see, 11 extra cards? 9 extra cards? Opponent levels up, hits us down to 3. They could actually play Kroxa and we would die too, because we have no land cards. Inquisition, we got nothing. Here comes Kroxa for lethal. Or just Bolt. I didn't actually get to see. Yep, it was lightning bolt. Alrighty then. Let's talk about this thing I called a deck list. Okay, is it good? That's arguable. I actually think it does have its merits. There were several times where Powder was in our opener, which was a hand we were going to mulligan anyway, and it would draw us a full 7 cards, so it was like mulliganing to 7 all over again. Only once in the Tron mirror, which I think is... Did we win the Tron mirror? I don't even remember. Did we actually exile a card out of our hand that we couldn't possibly get back that we wanted, which was Ghost Quarter? The rest of the time, it was more like, we just need to get to Tron. I want additional consistency to get to Tron. And I think that worked fine. It generally found us something. I think it was better at least one time more than it was bad. But there were a lot of hands we were mulliganing low anyway. And I think it helped dig just a little bit extra. You do have sort of a hidden upside to playing Serum Powder. And that's if you exile 7 cards that aren't relevant in the matchup, like you just, exile a whole bunch of your top-end threats that aren't the threat you need specifically to counter whatever deck you're playing. Like if you exile Ugin and Walking Ballista and Wormcoil versus Tron, you have a much higher chance of drawing the Tron threat that wins the game. The downside is you're playing 4 Manoliths in your deck, and actually just playing them on curve the time that we had like Natural Tron just let us play Ugin on turn 4 or whatever it was. That was fine. I don't think it's good. I think it works. I think it's a thing you can do. I don't think it's good. The only reason I did this is because I've been joking that if my mulligans stay terrible, I'm going to put Serum Powder in the deck just as a way to try and improve them. But really, I think what I'm going to try next, because there has not been another 5-0 deck list of Tron, at least that I've been able to find since I last played this list pre my edits. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to build an Exploratron version next and like up the land count and try that, because the Exploratron variant I think is just better than this variant. I still don't think going without Karn Great Creator is correct. I think if you're in a mono blitz meta, it might be, but all in all, don't play this version. Don't put Serum Powder in your Tron lists. You can. It is a thing you can do. It's not terrible. It might be bad, but it's not good. It does what it says on the tin, though. So you're probably just better off in most matchups having 4 extra threats. Like, really. Like, versions of this deck have existed a long time ago in the past. And when I say a long time ago, I mean about the time that Khans of Tarkir came out and Ugin came out. Because you weren't playing Ulamog as your top-end threat. You might have played a Kozilek. You might have played the 11-mana Ulamog. But generally, your only threats were like Werncoil and Karn. There was one more, I thought, too. You might have played Sundering Titan as well. But, like, in a situation like that, where you really only had one good threat to be playing on turn 3, and it was Karn, or even like pre-Khans of Tarkir, Modern, when you only have one good threat that you want to be mulliganing towards, Serum Powder could be an option. I think it's, instead of trying to add consistency by interrupting your mulligan phase and then having 4 extra dead card top decks, it's probably just better to have 4 extra threats. Play the full set of 4 Wormcoil engines. Heck, play 4 Ugins before you play Serum Powders. Because in those situations, if you need to top deck a threat, you're probably going to top deck a threat. If you need to top deck Sphere Star missing Tron land, at least you're not top decking a 3-mana Manolith. Yeah, I think that's all I've got to say about this list. So if you like this list, if you like videos like this one, please leave a like, drop a comment, subscribe to the channel if you're so inclined. And remember, you can follow me on Twitch. Same username over there as you find me on here. I stream Wednesdays at 6 p.m. Mountain Time, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, though the last few have been earlier. And if you feel like supporting me more directly, I've got a link to my Patreon down in the description below. Even $1 a month would pay more to me than ad revenue ever would. But I hope you guys enjoyed. You're all wonderful human beings. Thank you so much for watching. This has been Serum Powder Green Tron. Bye!